So this is a review of the Lenox 10-inch steel cutting saw blade. Picked it up from Lowe's in Canada for about $100 about a year ago. Now the blade itself has 52 teeth and it's designed to run at 5200 RPM, which is standard for a wood shop saw. Now what makes this special is that it can cut any types of ferrous metals, but it also does a very clean edge without any burrs, and it doesn't generate a ton of heat, and it's supposed to last a long time. Now, what I discovered when I first used it to cut this 1x3 steel tubing, depending how you use it, you can actually really affect the lifetime of the blade. So I ended up having to get it sharpened here again at Caldon Sharpening in Calgary. And then I decided I'm going to do a little deeper review on the blade. Now, when you look at the 52 teeth, the teeth are actually alternating. So one tooth will be crowned, and then the next tooth will be sharped on the edge. And here you can see it in this image here. And so it's different than a wood blade for sure. Now, I'm going to be doing the tests on this 10-inch Mastercraft chop saw. Really nothing special about it. It used to be used for wood, and then I got a 12-inch compound miter saw for wood instead. And now one thing I did notice is it does, when you cut wrong and generate heat, it can end up melting the plastic on the bottom. But otherwise, it works fine. Again, it runs at 5,000 RPM. And I used it over the course of a year on a variety of different cuts. So you're going to see just a whole bunch of them that I stitched together here from throughout the year, and to see how it performed. My first one's going to be on this angle iron that I'm using to build a welding cart. So it's going to have some complex angles in it, but take a look. As you can see here, it does a really nice edge on the very first cut. Even though it's at a 45-degree angle, it's extremely sharp. And again, another nice finish. I had to do this one twice from each end, but a perfect cut. Alright, so after almost a year of cutting different items, I've learned a few things about the blade, some things to teach you. So obviously, here it is. It's actually been sharpened a couple times because I've learned some things that work and some things that don't. First and foremost, the first time you cut with this thing, it's going to be your best cut. And after that, they're all going to be worse. And that doesn't seem to matter how you cut or how you use the thing. But how you cut really can determine the length that your blade's going to live for. So you always want to cut across something. So just an example of this. So like, you notice how the blade comes down, like it cuts across, it cuts through the steel. If you try and cut into the steel, for example, I'll put on some tape here, like this, you're going to dull your blade instantaneously. Like it might not even make it through this cut. So you want to cut something more like this. So that's how you're going to cut a piece of steel like that. And that extends on to other types as well. If you're going to cut a piece of angle iron, you want to cut it like this. Again, cutting through, so when the teeth cuts, it kind of takes little chunks at a time and doesn't have to try and burrow into a piece of steel. Similarly, if you're gonna cut like a piece of tubing like this, you're going to mount it on an angle first. I did have a piece of wood that I can just demonstrate that. Actually, even the angle iron will do the job. So just kind of mount something like this, and then cut it like that, right? So those are the types of things you're going to want to know if you want to have a successful cut. My recommendation for the blade is a good one. I'm using this on about a 5,000 RPM saw. It's 5,000 RPM. This was only a cheap $120 saw that I've had for probably 15 years. and it does the job just fine. It makes a lot of sparks. It's probably not going to be as good as an Evolution, like a Rage 2 saw. Those are about a 14 inch as opposed to a 10, and they spin at about 1/3 the speed. Now with the diameter increase, it's still going to be faster, so I'm going to say maybe half the speed of this one. So it might do a better job overall, but really in the end I have no problem with this blade. It does the job. Keep it sharp, sharpen it often, and make sure you cut slow and you always cut through things, and you'll be happy with it.